How's everybody doing this evening?
No, but started it. There's a little bit of lag, so just wait for me.
How's everybody doing this evening? So I want to hear about your Valentine's fun. Who wants to share some Valentine's love with us? Hey, Erin. Is Ben on? How do you see Ben?
Because I got the testing.
Oh, I see.
I'm your producer.
He's okay. Okay, ladies, I have a couple of you I know that wanted to be on the call that I don't see here, but I'm going to go ahead for the sake of time. Everybody can get going. I'm really excited about this particular week. It is a where the rubber meets the road kind of a week of the challenge, but it's life-changing, absolutely life-changing. And I asked for a bird instead. I love it. Did you get it? Did you get one? Tammy, did you get your bird? And yes, Erin, I saw the lovely pictures of your vow renewal. I wondered if you were going to do something for Valentine's Day. And there's Joan. Hello, hello. And Berlin, but how are you doing physically, Berlin? We've been praying for you. Lego, oh, a Lego date. I love it. Well, I'm not going to touch that one. How do you hear Ben? Nice romantic dinner at home. Okay. Well, I did a self-love, self-care mini retreat yesterday, and that was my Valentine's. Actually, one of the best Valentine's Day I have had in a long time. No offense, honey. We had 15 women, and it was fabulous to just be in the presence of women and women who want to get well and love on each other, and there was just a lot of love in the room. It was pretty awesome. Michael sang for our dinner. I've had to sing for my supper before. So I want to kind of get down to business here and find out where everybody is at. I know that I've been hearing different people give different reports of being on track for the most part and having a good season of cleansing and moving into wellness and getting excited about rolling up their sleeves even further and getting this detox week rolling. But I know also several of you have either not been able to even get started altogether very well, or you were doing okay and you lost some momentum and you're feeling a little weary and not sure about going into this third week. So I'm going to just ask, can you just kind of give me your feedback as to where you are on that? If you're feeling good about week 3, or give me your feedback on that so I can know how to speak to you today. Berlin. Okay. Somebody give me some feedback. I'm going to give you some of mine. I'm not doing well in almost every department, and I am ready for tomorrow to bring about a new level. I'm not drinking enough water. I'm not resting enough. I haven't been exercising. I've been eating pretty well because that's easier for me than it ever has been before. But given that it was a weekend party type atmosphere, we did make some gluten-free little baby mini cupcakes that did not make it out onto the table, the goodies table at the event yesterday, and I found them at the end of the evening. No one had put them out on the plate, and so I've had probably about, let's see, maybe 5 of them, those little tiny baby cupcakes, little mini muffins, you might see them as. They had no frosting on them, so I thought it didn't count. But at number 5, I said, get a hold of yourself, and they're in a plastic bag, and they're going out to my husband's car so that he can take them to work tomorrow. Gluten-free or not, they are still sugar, and they are still grains, and I really need to cut both of those down out completely this week, and hopefully your intentions are to do the same. So Joan says she's halfway there, and I was excited to hear you've added organic foods, meats, and veggies into your life. That's so awesome. Okay. Yeah, they were supposed to, Tammy, they were supposed to have made it out at the lunch break for a little sweet something, but they did not, so I don't know. So do we have an understanding? Oh, I just got to tell you, it's so hard for me to do these webinars where I don't get to hear your voices. I think I'd almost rather do this in the style of a call. But anyway, I want you to realize that you know, again, I've mentioned many times, it's not about cheating or like someone saying I haven't given up the wine and so forth. Really, in general, you're not going to have to give up things in that way to where you never have them, unless that's something like in my case, I've decided wine is something, alcohol is something I will not ever have again. But if that's not your thing, you know, it just happens when you're doing a detox or a cleansing or a fasting, then it's just setting it aside for a time. And that's really where we're at with this week. This particular week comes from Dr. Hyman's Ultra Simple Diet. And it is a way to kickstart your metabolism and lose, literally, you can lose 10 pounds in 7 days. Ben lost, gosh, I want to say it was like 12 pounds. For me, it was about 8 pounds the very first time we did that. Now, we're not focused on weight loss in terms of pounds, but your body will really start to give up and release things, and you will see that. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the slides here. I just really wanted to get a feel for how you were doing, whether you're feeling good about getting into this week or not. I'm seeing Aaron saying not doing so hot, not feeling so good. So yeah, so dehydration plays a big part into a lot of those things. Absolutely, dehydration can make us want sugar, not exercising. All those things can lead into the next thing. So what I hear from a lot of you is, you know, you have to stop or start, or, you know, everything comes to an end when we're making quote unquote mistakes. And I don't want you to think that way. As soon as you're driving in one direction and you have a goal in mind, let's say that, you know, you're going to Texas, but you're driving towards the coast, you stop and you say, I'm driving towards the coast. That's not going to get me towards Texas. Let me turn around. You don't wait and say, well, on Monday I'll turn around. You just turn around, and that's the coast is in your rear view now. It's behind you. So that's where I want you to get into this mindset of, okay, I had pasta, but I'm not having pasta tomorrow. So we're just turning it immediately around. Don't give it up. Don't start over. And this particular week is very structured, and you'll see that here in the slides. I'm going to bring the slides over. So here's me. Hi. And this book right here, if you are interested in reading the book and reading Dr. Hyman's style, he is one of the best teachers in functional medicine. Another one that I love is the blood sugar solution. And for those of you that are working with real weight loss and obesity and blood sugar issues, I really want to see you working through some of these books. They are going to help you, absolutely. Berlin, that was freedom. Setting it aside. Yeah, I'm going to share the first slide. So here we go. So yeah, you're going to see, and these are just some, you know, things we've already been talking about. Why doing this detox? We've been talking about it from the very beginning. And I just don't want us to have an all or nothing mentality. You can definitely change up. Even in 1 week, you can be a new person. Headaches can go. I had constipation issues and very bad headache and sinus issues the first time that I did this program. And in 1 week, I was so radically different that I decided to stay for another week and even another week. And it was quite transforming. So, you know, food is medicine, and that's what we're gonna start to see, that food is medicine, and that it can also be, you know, set you up on the wrong side as well. It can cause you to crave certain things. And, you know, once we start craving sugar or allowing the sugar, then we want more. And if we're drinking alcohol and caffeine, one feeds into the other as well. Like we know that if you have a cup of coffee in the morning, you set yourself off from maybe having the food you would have had, but it took the appetite away. So there is really a science around why this week is set up the way that it is. You want to definitely follow the program and take, you know, if you had, this should have been the week where you're weaning off of sugar, weaning off of caffeine, weaning off of you know, certainly of alcohol, and bringing yourself to a place where I'm now going to be fresh and ready to just offer my body fresh foods and not foods that are going to be toxic to it. Cleaning out the colon, which starts to happen when you're eating this much fresh fruit and vegetables, and that's going to happen in your lunches and dinners. You're going to see that your meal plans are going to be from the things that you've already been doing. I sent them out to you today. That that's a can eat and a can eat list and a cannot eat list. Don't eat, excuse me, I couldn't get the word out. Don't eat list. So it's going to be really simple. Anything that you like, any vegetable that you like. However, we just take nightshades off the list. That would be things like potatoes, eggplant, red bell peppers, green and yellow bell peppers, any bell peppers. Those are all things that can increase inflammation in your joints. And so we want to stay away from nightshades on this program, but you can definitely eat anything else. And one of the things I want you to start focusing on is that the meat in your plate is just, it's not the star of the plate, it's just a little portion of it. The meat should be 3 to 4 ounces, and the vegetables should be 2 to 3 cups. And it's going to feel kind of crazy. You're going to feel like, how am I going to eat all of that? I mean, Ben and I would make a huge stir fry pan, like the larger fry pan that we have, and just do every kind of vegetable that we want, that we like. Maybe throw some olive oil or coconut oil in the pan, and then saute some onions and some garlic. Squeeze some lemon in there to loosen up the oil and the garlic, and then just put in every kind of vegetable you can imagine. I made some asparagus and mushrooms and some not red bell peppers, some tomatoes in there, and some yellow squash and some baby zucchini. And I made that as a like a scramble into the egg. So you can cut all that up, put that into your pan, use it for your eggs, your scramble, and then save some behind for later in the evening when you're going to stir fry chicken. And maybe throw some capers or some Kalamata olives in there and make it a Mediterranean style dinner with a half a cup of brown rice with it. So you're only cooking once, you know, a day. You can really spread out your efforts. The grains are going to be nominal this week. They're going to be seed crackers. They're going to be a half a cup of brown rice. You really want to stay lean on your fruit as well. Berries have the least amount of sugar, the least amount of I'm looking at, sorry guys, I'm learning the whole webinar thing. I'm reading my pages and looking at your notes too. So true about coffee. Yes, it really does change your blood sugar. We're really cleaning up our potential food allergies, and we're detoxifying the system. So we want to eat very clean, light meats and minimal amounts of meats. This is not a heavy meat eating week. You want to eat light amounts of fish. Salmon is good. Halibut could be good. Tuna could be good, but light meat. So, and if you are going to eat pork, you want to eat that next week. But you can eat pork, but just this week is about cleansing and detoxification. We want to lighten up the system, and we want to encourage elimination. So we want lighter weight meat and not as much of it. So chicken, fish, tofu if you like it, and if you do like tofu, Trader Joe's has a fermented tofu, which is non-GMO. You want to be very careful when you buy soy to make sure it's non-GMO. You can use any kind of herbs that you like. I think if you have stomach issues, you want to be careful with black pepper. And I'm really big on using a lot of cayenne pepper. And we'll talk about the, I think it's in the next one of the slides where you'll use some cayenne pepper with your lemon water, warm lemon water in the morning. And that really will kickstart your metabolism. That is a great way to stimulate your circulation. It's also a great way to stimulate your metabolic system. And you will definitely see the difference. If you take a shower in the morning using my dry brushing technique, before you get in the shower and you dry brush, we're going to get there on that slide, but I'm saying between that and getting your hot water and lemon and cayenne pepper going, I literally was able to get off of caffeine the last time that I did this program, because caffeine, cayenne pepper makes you feel just as stimulated. Okay, so optional, it said optional eggs. Really, when I do this, most of the time I stay off of eggs with a person that I've never seen numbers on. When I say number, you haven't taken a blood test or an ALCAT test to find out if you're allergic to any foods, because eggs can be a very common food allergy and we don't realize it. If you know that you're not allergic to eggs, I've actually had my ALCAT test done not that long ago, and praise God, I was able to not be allergic to the yolk or to the white. Sometimes we're allergic to one or the other or both. It's a staple at my house, and I think I would have fallen over if I couldn't have eggs. It was hard enough that I had many other things like rice and chicken, as a matter of fact. So it is a little difficult for some of us that have food allergies, but generally speaking, I want you to get off of the eggs unless you know for sure that you don't have a food allergy to them. Because the purpose for this week is not just to drop weight out of our belly, because it's going to happen, but it's really to find out if any of the major food culprits, like dairy, like wheat and gluten, like beef, like eggs, like corn, like soy, those are all items that are oftentimes the culprit in food allergies. And so we're going to take those out of our diet and clean up our diet and eat really clean, whole, fresh food. And then we're going to start putting things back in the 4th week and beyond. And people often say, wow, I never thought I had a problem with dairy, but now I do notice it when we put it back. So you're going to see some changes there. So you'll see dairy here, there, unless, I personally choose to not use dairy, but I know many do use Greek yogurt and don't see any irritations with it. And I'm going to tell you, back to the organics, you want, when you're taking in food that are animal product based, especially, use organic. So if you buy the yogurt, buy non-fat, don't buy non-fat, buy plain organic yogurt, and it can be Greek or it doesn't have to be. It's whatever you choose. But if you're going to use that, say in your smoothie, or you need a little snack in the afternoon and you want to put some berries in it, only if you can take it without sugar in it, because we don't want to put sugar in it. I wish we could all see each other right now. I'd have you all hold hands and we'd all just say, we're committing to this 7 days, only 7 days of no sugar, and no caffeine. Because I know it's going to be hard. How do people are saying already, how am I going to have yogurt without sugar in it? It's a tough one. So citrus and fruit juices are heavy sugar, but also the reason we say sugar citrus is because many people are sensitive to sugar, to citrus. We don't realize it, but nightshade plants and citrus plants can really cause inflammation in some people. The nuts is going to be a tough one for a lot of us. A lot of us that are healthier eaters tend to use nuts as a snack. We want to be really careful there, unless, again, you're sure that it's not a problem for you. And even if it is, remember, you want to probably keep it under 10 as a little snack once a day. Refined oils, so you want to use unrefined coconut oil and unrefined, the olive oil. And then you can see clearly the rest of the things that you wouldn't eat there. So here's a sample. Here's an idea. When you wake up in the morning, before you do anything, I want you to do hot water and lemon juice. Squeeze the half of a lemon in there. And that's usually how I start the day. Wake up and go put that on, turn that water on and get things rolling. And then have a cup of decaf tea. And even if you wanted to have a caffeinated green tea, that's okay, as long as you limit that to 1 or 2 cups a day. If you haven't used the week 2 as a transitionary out of caffeine, then you're going to need to do that. Ideally, you will have already done that. You've started transitioning out of it. I had some of you talking about doing half caffeine and half decaf coffee, and you were, working off of your heavy caffeine usage, and we were getting somewhere. So hopefully you guys have all been weaning yourself off. If you haven't, and you had coffee the last 3 days in a row, you're going to have a headache if you're a sensitive person, if you just cut it all off. So keep, progress, not perfection. If you haven't been there, then you haven't been there. Start where you are today and have one less, whatever that is, less cup, less half a cup, whatever that is for you. I want you to just keep getting better and better at bringing it down to none. And if you need to extend your week, then you'll extend the week so that you get a whole week of no caffeine. You'll see a big difference. And I think Crystal said too, it will change your body's cravings. If you are always on caffeine and then you find yourself needing that little something later in the afternoon because you need a sugar fix or a caffeine fix, if you get yourself off of that cycle of needing caffeine all the time, you'll be amazed at how your energy will stay even. I mean how your cravings will stay even once you get your coffee under control. So you'll see that you'll see broth there a lot. Is there? I'm not sure if I gave you the slides with the broth to make them, but if they're not in there in your packets, I will be sending you. Basically, what I'm going to show you how to do is make a big pot of vegetables and make a broth out of it. Just every kind of vegetable that you like, a lot of different root vegetables. I also put, leafy green vegetables, kale and chard and different things. As colorful as you can get this broth, and then just let it boil. And I'm going to send you that recipe, and then then take out the greens, take out the fiber, and just drink the broth. You can drink it anytime you hear your mind saying, I need a snack, or I'm in a bad mood, or I need a cup of coffee, or I'm really hungry and it's not time to eat yet. You can have as much broth as you want, and that broth will remineralize your system, and that helps headaches, that helps cravings, that helps your body's fluid retention. You will love broth. Now that we've been doing broth in my household, we always have broth. If we don't have a vegetable broth going, we have a chicken or a beef broth going, or we have it already prepared in the freezer. And I want you to become really just in the habit of keeping broth in your home, because it really is life-giving and it will help you with your cravings. I'm also good with smoothies. If you have a protein smoothie that you like, I prefer that you wouldn't be doing anything dairy, so don't use a whey protein smoothie, but you could use rice protein or pea protein, or send me a text with it or put a picture of it in the Facebook challenge room, and we'll take a look at the ingredients. But basically, you want something that is not chemically sugared, meaning doesn't have the Splenda in it. And you can use that as well anytime you're hungry as a snack. Ben uses a breakfast smoothie. I will oftentimes do a breakfast smoothie, but I personally like a warm breakfast. So you're going to do 2 to 3 cups of steamed vegetables. There's a challenge for you. I dare you to try to eat 3 cups of vegetables and tell me you're hungry afterwards. It is a real eye opener to see, wow, usually we do a big piece of chicken breast and then maybe a little side of a few vegetables that turns out to be maybe not even a cup usually. But if you go in and you stir fry a bunch of veggies and pull up 2 or 3 cups out of there, put it on your plate and put 4 ounces of fish or chicken, you'll be hard pressed to eat it all. And you will not be hungry. You might be hungry later within a sooner period of time, because that happens to us. We think, wow, I ate all of that, but it doesn't last all that long because there's not a lot of fat in there. And that's okay. You can you can eat as often as you want, as long as it's the right food. And that would be any kind of veggies that you want. So a half a cup of rice or quinoa is going to be your accompaniment to your lunch or your dinner. You can also have a smoothie. So if you're in a hurry, you can have a smoothie, and then you can have berries for dessert. Now, I would prefer, I think that this might even say a half a cup. Let's see where the dinner is. If it tells you, I don't have them in front of me, sorry. Basically, what I want you to know is that I only want you to have a half a cup of fruit a day, not twice a day. So, okay. If you put it in your smoothie, you can't have it as a snack. If you have it as a snack, you're not going to have it as a dessert after dinner. So half a cup of fruit a day. And ideally, it's not going to be bananas and peaches. You can if that's, your thing. But remember, if you're really trying to cut your sugar, you have to keep weaning from heavier sugared fruits, because if you just keep eating bananas, you're going to keep craving after more of it. Right, Crystal? We know, those of us that are sugar addicted, just even a bit of a banana and even sometimes me eating a big navel orange, that could make me want a whole nother one. So remember, this is just for 7 days. So again, your dinner, you're going to do 4 to 6 ounces of fish or chicken. If you want to use tofu, you can. Again, it's not my preference to have people on soy, but it is not wrong if it's something that you like and you're not wanting to have a lot of fish and chicken. Some people really do want to start cutting down their animal products, and there's an option there for you. Lots of spices, lots of turmeric for inflammation, ginger help you for your belly. If you have belly problems, using a lot of ginger is helpful. Cilantro is very helpful for our gallbladder and our liver, so we want to use them. And as we're making our food, we're thinking of healing ourselves. It's not just about flavor. The herbs were given to us for healing our bodies. Again, 2 or more cups. And one of the things that I would say is to prep several meals ahead of time of veggies. Just get a big container a Tupperware container that you can fill up with your favorite vegetables, and just keep them cut up already, and then throw them into a little frying pan and saute them, or put them into a big salad and put a nice piece of chicken or fish on top of that. So there's lots of different ways you can have it, and you're not really cutting vegetables every night. That can be draining sometimes. And again, a half a cup of cooked brown rice. Make it in your rice cooker, and then put them into half cup or 1 full cup portions. If you're cooking with somebody else, my husband and I will do 1 cup bags, and then I break it into 2 for him and I. And then I have it, already cooked for the week. And if you're falling short on that, or you don't have time, you can buy it now pre-cooked in Trader Joe's, and I think I saw it in Raley's, where they have the pre-made 2.5 cups to a bag. So you'll get a couple of days out of that. And there's the broth showing there again as well. You can use as much broth as you want. You feel hungry, have some broth. If that doesn't satisfy you, have a protein shake. If you're working or you're coming home from a long day and you haven't really prepped and you're ready to make dinner, but you're ready to chew your legs off or somebody else's, get yourself a smoothie made. There's nothing wrong with having a smoothie. And I would say to you, even if that means 3 times a day, that's okay. I want you to eat to where you're not feeling like you want to eat things that are not good for you. There's some recipes there. The Health Coaching Academy has the intentional lifestyle. There's different recipes there. I think you've already gotten the berry nutty smoothie. I have lots of smoothie recipes for you as well. But there's some go-to ideas for dinner. Just really, you want to just eat whatever vegetables that you like and as much of it. You can eat fish and chicken. You just don't want anything breaded. You can make up some quinoa and throw in a lot of veggies and shredded chicken into your crock pot. That's a great way to make like a bowl. Think of things like things that you would see at Chipotle, that kind of mixture. That's a really good, fresh, clean. In fact, that's a fresh, clean place to eat if you need to be eating out. Something like Chipotle or Moe's, I think in the Auburn area is Moe's. Very similar type of a thing. Just think clean. Rice, meat, vegetables. Anybody got some thoughts on that? Any struggles? Yes, yes, and yes. I like that. Beans are a real quick one. I buy black beans, navy beans, garbanzo beans. I like the little white cannellini beans. And I mix all of those. I'll open up 4 or 5 different cans of beans and throw them together and buy some bruschetta from Trader Joe's, which is an oil and garlic and basil and tomatoes. And I'll mix that all in there with it. And I'll cut up some zucchini and tear up some spinach, just whatever you like, and just throw that together and maybe even throw in some tuna fish. And I have lunch. So, you know, just get kind of creative at some different ways, and then you can use seed crackers with them and with it instead of any kind of bread. I love Mary's Gone crackers. That's a great brand that I use, and it doesn't have, they're obviously gluten-free, but they're all made with seeds. And when I'm really ambitious or I can talk my husband into it, we make them ourselves in the dehydrator. So a dehydrator is a great way to make your own good quality seed crackers. And some of the crackers that I've been making are coming out of my my juicer, the pulp from when I'm juicing vegetables. So get some ideas going in the room. Tell us what you're doing using the leftover salmon that you know from making your dinner the night before. Make some extra and then make it cold and then make it into a salad. I mean, I'm really big on repurposing food. So I make that big chicken in the early part of the week in a whole chicken in a roasting pan in my oven for an hour and a half, and off comes all the meat, and then the carcass goes back in with a lot of water, and then we roast that down and then throw all of that into the crock pot and make my broth. Then you've got the broth and you've got all that food. For me, there's just 2 of us, so that would be probably a good 6 meals off of that. And I take the breast and chop up thin strips for my chicken salad. If I want to make a chicken salad, you can throw in half of an apple. And I'm not opposed to putting a little bit of mayonnaise in there too. You're not going to see that in the on the meal planning per se, but I think a lot of I'm not afraid of oil. So it's a little bit of mayonnaise and a little bit of sprouts, and then you've got a whole new little chicken salad. You can spread that on to seed crackers. I also found the thin rice cakes, which I like to use instead of bread too. So there's something you can do. Beans hate you. Okay, how about some digestive enzymes? Anybody else have issues with any kind of food where the tummy bloats or belches or gas or any of that? It was one of the things I wanted to talk about this week anyway. How are we doing with digestion? I really want to see you adding in digestive enzymes. And I'm not sure if I've talked about this to you as a whole. I know I've talked to a few different individual people, but you're looking for digestive enzymes that break down the fats, the proteins, the fibers, and the carbohydrates. Generally, it's just an all-over digestive plus. I have made my own mayonnaise. It's not really worth it to me. You can buy at Trader Joe's organic mayonnaise. So I want you to consider digestive enzymes, and I will talk more about the specifics of that in the group, so we can give you some brands and some types and such, and do this. Really important, especially over 40 years old, especially if you've been a coffee drinker forever, especially if you have digestive disturbances. Could you guys show me? Can you do hands? I don't know. I want to show me a yes or a no if you have any digestive disturbances of any kind. I really want to see what the terrain is here. Yes, Berlin, love those pickles. The drink, no. No. Digestive enzymes. It's an enzyme that you take that helps your body digest the food that you're eating. So anybody having tummy problems, constipation, gas, belching, bloating, uncomfortable pains, any of that. So I really want to start to see that change for you this week. It really, really will. These are some shortcuts. We've already kind of talked about this. Yeah. So yeah, Janice has none. Okay. Digestive enzymes definitely going to help that, and a lot of people who are sugar addicted have a lot of belching, bloating, gas, bloating especially, because the sugar ferments, and that's a whole another conversation. I'll be doing a digestive webinar on digestion and. What was that? IBS? Well, it could be a number of things. It could be colitis. It could be IBS. It could be candida overgrowth. It could be ulcerative colitis. It could be irritable bowel syndrome. It could be just constipation. It could be, all of that. So a lot of people say, I don't have constipation. I have diarrhea. To the body, it's the same. The issue is the same, basically. And sometimes it will go back and forth. But that's what I'm going to, for those that are interested in digestion, we're going to go there, because that is a huge part of why a lot of people can't release weight, is because their body's not absorbing nutrients correctly or processing and elimination. So bloating, yeah. Coffee helping with digestion. Exercise for sure does. I have heard people say that coffee helps them go to the bathroom. I don't know about it helping digestion. I'm not sure. So let's move into this bath right here, because there's a fun part. How many of you are bath takers or what can be a bath taker? Because this is huge. The detox bath is going to be huge for helping you eliminate toxins and soothe and calm your nerves through this event here. Epsom salts is a really great way for helping to detoxify our system. It's why when you have you have bruises, or you've worked really hard in the garden, or they say, hey, take an Epsom salt bath because it helps soothe the muscles. Magnesium helps the muscles. It also helps the detoxification process. Good, Berlin. If we would all just not do it. That's what I was saying, Tammy. I want to see who can do. So we'll talk about it, Tammy. There is a magnesium oil that you can spray on your body. I ideally like you to be in the bath and soaking in the bath, because you want to absorb this stuff into your skin and then detox by secreting. But you can do a detox bath through your feet, so you can soak your feet. Yeah, bubble bath and wine. Epsom salts instead of the bubble bath, and we want to do the Epsom salts instead of the chemicals. Remember that your body isn't your skin is an absorbable organ, and so it's going to absorb whatever you put in it. So by laying in a bath that has bubbles that have chemical, sodium lauryl sulfate and all that stuff that they put in there to give it bubbles, we don't want that in our skin. So you use your Epsom salt baths in the lavender or I like to use lavender and cedar wood because cedar wood helps with pain, and sometimes I'm in the bath because my back hurts. So I know, yeah, Janice, she's a fun one. Absolutely. That's great. Cedar wood and frankincense, Berlin. I know you have some of those great oils. Rubbing those on and taking them internally actually would help as well. So anyway, the detox bath is a big part of this. It really is, because you want your body respirates the oxygen that you breathe in, and then that your skin respirates out after the bath in the shower is pretty powerful. Those of you that can't get in the bathtub, you'll do some dry brushing. And I didn't mention that here, but dry brushing, if you get one of those long-handled dry brushes, do you guys know what a dry brush is? The dry brush. Yes, I did, Berlin, part of it. You didn't open it, but I saw that it did go to you. Joan, are you asking about where to get the dry brush or where to get the Epsom salts? Epsom salts I find at where did I just was at Rite Aid and I bought some. I go through them a lot. I was just telling Ben, you know what? I'm tired of buying 6 and 7 pounders. I'm going to see if I can get 30 pounds or 50 pounds and have it delivered. And then we can all just take some out of that. But dry brushing, I use a long wood handled brush with a stiff bristle. It's a natural bristle. And I think, I thought I had mine here from yesterday. I might not have unloaded it from yesterday. I took it to the retreat yesterday. I would have showed it here to you. But you start at your feet and you work everything up into the middle of your groin. And I'll go back to that in a second, because Ben actually is listening to me and I think he's looking for it. So I'll show you. I'll put on the camera and I'll let you see how to do it, because this is huge. It moves your lymphatic system. It loosens the dead skin cell. It stimulates your circulation. So if you do that before you get in the shower, and certainly before you get into the bath, every morning before you get in the shower, if you have that drink that I just mentioned, the lemon water with cayenne, and then you dry brush and you get into the shower and you go back and forth with the hot and the cold and the hot and the cold in the shower. Tough one, but I'll tell you, it works. It stimulates your circulation and it wakes you up. You'll forget that you weren't having any coffee. That's for sure. And your body will become firmer and tighter, and the skin it will. So I am really a big one on bath and shower rituals, water rituals. They really do help, and essential oils. Any questions there? Any experiences? And you know, it's so yeah, Crystal, when you come for your facial, I'll show you. I have every kind of oil you can imagine. And a doTERRA. Yeah, so some people use doTERRA. I use Young Living oil. I've been using Young Living oil for about 20 years. The key is that you find one that is not just a smell good oil. We want the clinical, medical, medicinal qualities of the oil, and not just that it smells good. It needs to be measured by a gas chromatograph and known that all the specific chemicals are in there. Chemicals meaning plant chemicals that are in there to be medicinal. I have a great husband. Here you go. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this, guys. Hold on here. So this is a dry brush. Dry brush. It's got a really stiff bristles here, and it's kind of. I'm gonna put my leg up here. Okay, so